Hello and welcome to episode 54, I believe, of the Giddy Knits Podcast. As always, I'm Helen and I am coming to you from Dundee in Scotland, where I am currently locked down with my husband Tom and my two boys, Arthur, who is 6, and Jasper, who is 3. First of all, apologies if there is lots of noise going on. The boys are currently in the garden with Tom. And I can hear them. They're making a lot of noise. Our neighbours are going to hate us when this lockdown ends. But, oh well, can't be helped, and they need some fresh air. So welcome back. Welcome back everyone that has watched before. Thank you so much for coming back and continuing to check out the podcast. And hello to anyone that is new. Did I say what day it is? No, it is Saturday the 4th of April today. And yeah, this is my podcast. This is where I talk about all my knitting and various other crafts if I happen to be doing them. And I've just realised that I've forgotten one, but I will show you that next time. And yeah, I'm a bit distracted already, aren't I? What am I trying to say to you? This is my podcast where I talk about all my crafts and everything like that. Basically. For those of you that don't know, I am the dyer behind Giddy Yarns. Yeah, that's me. And yeah, where can you find me? You can find me on Instagram as either Giddy Yarns or GiddyHelen. I do tend to share more on Giddy Yarns than I do GiddyHelen because I forget. And you can find my yarn on my website, which is www.giddyyarns.com. And you can find our Ravelry group, because we do have a Ravelry group on Ravelry, obviously, ravelry.com. And the Ravelry group is just the Giddy Knits Podcast. That should hopefully be linked down below if I have remembered. Right, for those of you that watched last week, just carrying on from that, I mentioned last week that I might have a go at doing weekly vlogs to kind of alternate with the podcast. Especially at the moment whilst we're obviously in a situation where there's no school, so my boys are at home full time and currently unable to leave the house, apart from for obviously vital reasons, groceries, etc. You all know the rules. That's not going to work. This week has been chaotic, trying to manage the boys, trying to get a bit of homeschooling done with Arthur, trying to still get some work done. Tom is still pretty much working full time, although he's working from home. He's still pretty much working full time. So that leaves me to manage the boys most of the time. So yeah, that's not going to happen. So I think what we're going to attempt is slightly shorter weekly podcasts, basically. So I'll be picking and choosing kind of the projects that I'm working on the most and the things that I'm kind of really currently working on, and sharing them with you each week. I have popped up one of my studio lights today. The window is still open, which is I think what you can see reflected in this picture up here. But just to kind of try and counteract the shadow, I have popped up one of my studio lights. So hopefully the lighting will be a little bit better this week. I think what I'm going to do is just take the bulb out and try and leave that one somewhere in the corner of the room out of the way. Anyway, shall I get into it? Shall I get started before I just ramble continuously? What have I got for you? I don't really know because I haven't written any show notes. That's one thing actually. There won't be show notes at the moment because they take a lot of time to prepare and a lot of time to write out. Certainly to upload them to my website and everything with links and all of that kind of thing in, it's just not possible at the moment. So if you have any questions about what I'm sharing and you can't find it via Google, then please just drop me a message and I will try and answer the question. So yeah, what have I got for you this week? I have got a finished object to share. I have got some works in progress to share, a couple of new cast-ons to share with you, and I've got a bit of yarny goodness as well. So let's start, as we always do, with a finished object. So I've got quite a big finished object because this week I finished my Pure Joy. This is a pattern by Joji Locatelli, and I really enjoyed this actually. The rows got very long towards the end, as you can imagine. And I've shared this on the podcast a number of times. The yarn I used was King Fibres in the Cactus colourway, and the Platinum is the dark grey in a high twist BFL. Absolutely gorgeous yarn base. And it is just a really fun shawl. It's quite clever. It's created using short row sections. So you cast on here and then you use short row sections to create the shaping. So the rows, although they look like they do get very long, and they do get very long, because of the way that you are knitting it, you're actually doing each wedge starts with shorter rows and then they get longer. If that makes sense. It's a paid for pattern, so I can't go into too much detail, but that's the way it works. And yeah, I just absolutely love it. It's a really nice shape. Ooh, it's quite a nice sort of long, almost scarfish kind of shawl. I'm not very clever with the way I wear my shawls at all. But yeah, and it's also really nice because although you've got lots of kind of almost striped sections, you only actually have 4 ends to weave in at the end, because the black obviously at this end carries down without having to cut it. So yeah, you only actually have 4 rows to weave in at the very end. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with this one. I have blocked it and the BFL has softened up beautifully, and yeah, I can very happily wear this around my neck and be quite comfortable. So yeah, as I said, that's the Pure Joy by Joji Locatelli. Right, let's pop this somewhere sensible. Okay, go in and put it in my shawl basket now that I've shared it with you. That's the only finished object that I had this week, because I think I shared the socks with you last week. I'm sure I did, because they're away in the box. But I have cast on a couple of new things. I ripped out a cardigan. I had started the Angelus Novus cardigan by Renee Callahan, I believe. And then I made a mistake. I had some issues with reading the pattern, and I made a mistake, and I wasn't far enough into it to really worry, so I just ripped it all out. So I will cast that back on again sometime, but at the moment I just need simpler projects, and I kind of decided that I need kind of quick gratification projects at the moment. So I've cast on another pair of socks. They're not living in that bag, they're living in this little bag. In fact, everything is living in a little grey girl bag today. So these are all little grey girl bags. This was one of the mystery gem ones. She needs to do some more of these small drawstrings because I absolutely love them. So I was sent a couple of little minis, but they weren't little minis. There was about 25 to 30 grams in each of these 2 colours, and I just really liked the way that they went together, and I just thought I'm just going to make some odd sort of scrappy socks out of them, just little shorty socks. So I've cast them both on. I'm using these 2 little DPN cozies from Craft House Magic to keep everything safe. So I cast them on. So the first one I have cast on the rib in the orangey colour, and then I'm going to do the main body of the sock in the purple colour. This one is now ready for a heel, and I'm going to do the heel and the toe of this sock in the orangey colour. And then this one will be the opposite. So I've knit the rib of this one. I will have to wait. I was working this out of how can I do it concurrently without winding this one off into 2 separate balls. I will have to wait until I've at least got to the foot of this one, at least finished the foot of this one, in order to kind of put the heel or carry on to this one, because otherwise I'm going to have far too many ends to weave in, and that just seems a bit pointless. So yeah, I'll put the heel of this one in and then do the foot, and then I'll do the same. I'll come back and I'll do the leg and the heel, and yeah, it all kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So there'll just be some fun kind of odd scrappy socks. That's the plan anyway. I'm not using a pattern, I'm just kind of making it up. I do a short row heel for my socks, and I find that for shorty socks I need a little bit of extra length in the leg in order to do that. So I tend to do 12 rows of rib, and then I'll knit 10 rows of leg, then I'll put the heel in, and then I'll just do my normal foot, and that seems to work quite well for me for shorty socks. And then I've got another new cast on. Oh, doors slamming in the house. I've got another new cast on, which is living in this little bag I showed you last week. This was the mystery gem bag. I really love that, with the little knitting sheep. And I have finally cast on some mitts. So I can't remember if I printed out a picture on the pattern. I don't think I did. I think I just printed out the... Sorry, let me just have a quick check. No, I didn't print out the picture page. Trying to save ink because I'm worried I'm going to run out of printer ink and then not be able to print off anything homeschooling wise for the boys. So also using a DPN cozy from Craft House Magic. Ellie kindly gifted me this one at Christmas when I bought one of the bags from her. I am casting on, in fact, a Craft House Magic pattern. So it's all Ellie. I have cast on the Country Garden mitts. I'm trying to hold these in a way that I can show you, but it's not really working very well. I've not done a lot, so you can't really see much yet. I've literally kind of done the cuff, and I am just starting with the trellis pattern that is involved with these. And the yarn I am using is Die Candy Codename Lavender, I think is the colourway. It's a DK weight yarn. I think this is a merino nylon, so it's a 75% merino, 25% nylon, but it's DK weight. And this is the cake. I just thought they'd make fun little fingerless mitts. And as I said, I just need some quick, gratifying projects at the moment, kind of projects I can work on when the boys are around. Nothing that's got too long a row, and nothing that uses too much brain power. So hopefully these will get a little bit more work. I did think about knitting these concurrently, but then I was really lazy and I couldn't be bothered to cake this up into 2 separate balls. I also really need to trim my tail end because it's far too long and it's getting in the way. But hopefully they will see a little bit more progress. And then one other project I was going to share with you is kind of, I guess, a blanket progress project. Let me pop this back in the bag. I have finished a square, well, started and finished another square for the Boundaries blanket, or the Boundaries cowl, which is a pattern by Louise Tilbrook. And basically starting, I believe it was sometime in November, I am very far behind. Starting sometime in November, she was releasing a square every 2 weeks. And I think it's going to finish in May, maybe? I can't remember. Or is it April? I don't know. I'm completely behind with it. And then you join them all and you get a blanket at the end of it. And she was also including a little bit of information and research about setting boundaries for yourself and things like that. So this was the first square. They're involved just really nice, fun sort of texture patterns. That was the first square. This is the second one. This needs significant blocking because it's got kind of a cabled rib. And then the third square is back to the grey. And this is the third square. I quite enjoyed this one. I really liked the texture in this one. It was really nice and quick to knit. And I've got a lovely little progress keeper on here, which I should have shown you in acquisitions. This is from Laura at Crafters Balm is the name of her website, I believe. But she's got these gorgeous little clay stitch markers. And this one is a donut, a galaxy donut with a little star on. Really, really lovely. So yeah, I've got 3 squares done. I believe there are 12 in the whole blanket, so I am quite a long way behind, really. But I'm hoping to try and do a few more over the next few weeks, because I think it was quite a good project. They're not overly complicated, the patterns, once you kind of get into them and once you start them. So it was a really good thing to sort of have on the needles while I was dealing with the boys. I could put it down really quickly and put it down really easily. So hopefully that means this will see a little bit more progress. Oh yeah, I've just spotted something else I was going to tell you about. Let me just pop some of these out on the way. The table's quite useful here, actually, even if it does put me at a slightly wonky angle. The other thing that's been seeing a little bit of work recently, and I don't think I've shared it with you too recently, hopefully, otherwise you'll be bored of it, is my cross stitch. So here it is. And this is the second one. If you've been watching for a while, you'll remember that I've also done one that is very similar, but it says home is where the pants aren't. And this one is obviously home is where the bra is not. And then it's just got this lovely floral pattern. So I just need to do kind of repeat this section over this side and it will be done. And the aim is for these to go up behind mine and Tom's bed. I've got these two, and then I've got another one which is along the lines of and they lived happily ever after, with kind of floral decoration on as well. So the three of them should go quite nicely, and they're just going to go above our bed to add a little bit of decoration to our room. So yeah, I'm hoping to get this finished soon, because it hasn't got a lot more work to put into it. But that is all of my... I didn't put the yarn away. That is all of my kind of yarny goodness. No, it hasn't. What am I talking about? That is all of my knitting kind of content and progress. So the rest I have to show you is mostly acquisitions, although I have just remembered that I have forgotten to announce the winner of the first quarter of our Giddy Yarns Cal, or even talk about the fact that I've got cows. So let's have a random announcement section, shall we? Because I'm all over the place at the moment. So we have 2 knit-alongs running, and the first one is the Giddy Yarns Cal. Let's go with that one. So basically that is just a year-long cal. Well, it's probably not going to be longer than a year long. It's just going to be ongoing, and every quarter I will draw a prize. So any project that uses at least 50% Giddy yarns can be entered, as long as it's been finished this year or within the quarter that you're entering it in, basically. Then that is absolutely fine. So I didn't close. What I've done is I've just put a post in that says that any prizes above this were entered into the draw, and then you can carry on entering below. I'll do that. I'll probably do that for the whole year. And then I will, next year, I'll start a new thread for 2021, which will hopefully be a much better year than 2020 is turning out to be. So I've drawn the first quarterly prize for that thread. We had 10 entries, 9 entries, 10 entries, 9 entries, and then my post. So I used a random number generator, and the winner was post number 4, I believe, who is Viola. I will put your Ravelry name on the screen because I can't pronounce it, and now I can't quite remember the exact spelling of it, so I'm going to even struggle to pronounce it. But it is Viola, who is in Birmingham, and she had knit a Land of Sweets cowl using my advent calendar from 2018, but she'd finished it off this year. So yeah, congratulations, and I will pop your prize in the post if you get in contact with me. This is what you have won. So you've won a sock set from me, and this is actually in my Visions of Sugar Plums colourway. And then I will also include a little set of stitch markers. These ones, I'll get them out the bag just to see if I can get them out the bag. I had planned on having these at shows, and then of course all the shows have been cancelled, so I've not actually shared these anywhere really. But these ones, you've got a little set, there we go. So you get 4 little stitch markers with the wire and beads, and then this one's got a pineapple progress keeper as well, which won't stay still, so you can't really see it. There you go, pineapple progress keeper as well. So yeah, that's the little set. I will include that as well. So drop me your address and I will pop those in the post for you. Although I've probably got your address actually, possibly. But anyway, get in contact with me, Instagram, Ravelry, whatever. Just let me know that you've seen this. If I haven't heard from you in the next few days, then I will drop you a message anyway. And then we have one other knit along that is currently running. And that is the 20th Century History Cow. So basically any project that you can relate to anything in 20th century history, whether that is a book that your yarn is based on, whether it's a film that your yarn is based on, whether it's an actual historical event, whether the project or the yarn or the pattern, you know, was brought out in the 20th century, so anything between 1900 and 1999, then yeah, enter it, come and join in. That is running until the end of April, although I may extend the deadline because I might just do that, because why not? We'll see. But yeah, I will definitely be running it until the end of April, and there will be a yarny prize from me involved, and I've also got 2 pattern prizes as well from Vera, and they are both, well, one is a shawl and one is a scarf pattern, and I will I'm not doing show notes, so putting them in show notes is a little bit awkward. I will try and link them just down below so that you can have a little look at the patterns that are up for grabs. I will try and remember to do that. Yeah, okay, so that's like announcements in the middle of the podcast. Oh dear. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So the next thing is acquisitions. Now, I keep forgetting to bring up the things. I'm going to share this with you. I've only got one of them with me, which is a bit of a shame because I've actually got 3 of these, but I joined in the Kickstarter for Crafter's Balm. Now I mentioned Laura, who Laura is the host of the Lonely Knitter podcast, and she has just set up a business called Crafter's Balm, selling handmade hand balms and stitch markers. And I joined her Kickstarter for her to kind of support her to set up her business, and my level of reward was to get 3 little hand balms, and these are the little hand balms. So she's got this gorgeous logo, Crafter's Balm. This one is a natural one. I got 2 naturals and 1 peppermint scented. I believe she's also got lemon scents and stuff like that, and they are lovely. They just wind up and you can just apply them to your dry areas. They're the perfect little size to pop in your project bag, and they're a really, really nice hand balm as well. I mean, even the neutral colour just smells really, really lovely. So yeah, I'd highly recommend you have a little look at her website, which I believe is just craftersbalm.co.uk or .com. If not, have a look. She's the Lonely Knitter on Instagram, so you'd be able to find information about her there as well. And then I have a couple of bits that have arrived post Yorkshire Yarn Fest. So we obviously had the virtual Yorkshire Yarn Fest event, and I supported a couple of other vendors and made a couple of little purchases. I shared with you last week the yarn from Debbie at Down Sheepy Lane that I had ordered, that had arrived. I also ordered a few minis. I got these lovely minis from Castle View Yarns. She has some gorgeous colourways. I want all of her colourways, but I was quite restrained and I just picked up one of these mini bundles. Now these minis, I think, were they the Bennett sisters ones? I can't quite remember. I think they might have been. It doesn't have a label on to give me the colourway on this, but yeah, really, really pretty. They will be going into my blanket, just little 10-gram minis, and she included a little shooting star stitch marker there as well, a progress keeper even. So yeah, I will be caking these up to start adding them to my blanket. And then I also picked up a couple of little bits from Lana, here it is, Lana Boo Shop. So this is her information. This is her information. Lana Boo Shop. And she does a lot of kind of crafters stationery. So I picked up some postcards from her. So there's Eat, Sleep, Craft, Repeat. I didn't choose the yarn life chose me. Life's too damn short. The life's too short, buy the damn yarn. New yarn is always a good idea. Yarn is cheaper than therapy. So much yarn, so little time. And yarn lover. This was just a little set of 6 postcards. But I just thought they'd be really nice for just sending to friends and things like that. And I couldn't resist. I also picked up a sheet of stickers. Oh, I think. Give me 2 seconds. And excuse the fact that I'm wearing leggings and not really proper trousers. At least they're not pyjama bottoms. Yes, they are. They're in here. I also picked up a sheet of stickers. I have used a couple of the stickers as part of my snail mail swap that I sent out the other day. But yeah, I just picked up this sheet of stickers as well with some of the similar logos on and kind of all the different bits and pieces. Really, really fun. And she popped in a big free I Love Yarn sticker as well, which I will have to pop somewhere. Let me just pop those up there. And then there were 2 more things. So firstly, I had to pick up a bag from Gemma, her little grey girl, didn't I? So I picked up this gorgeous donut fabric, and she will definitely have this pattern in her shop at the moment if you are interested. I chose the medium size bag because I need more bigger bags. I've got so many kind of little sock bags, but I need more bags that are going to hold a good couple of skeins. This has also already got yarn for a project in. There's a WhatsApp group for Arthur's class at school, and for some reason it suddenly seems to have just gone completely crazy, and I'm having little WhatsApp messages pop up on my phone while I'm recording. It's distracting me. They're now including photos and videos and goodness knows what. So yeah, I caked up a couple of skeins of my yarn. So this is Mistral, and this is Hoarfrost. And I am going to knit the Versa. Is it the Versa hat pattern? Again, I don't think I've printed out an actual picture of the pattern. Oh no, yes I have, kind of. It's a pattern by Bristol Ivy. Is it the Verso, I believe it's called. Of course, it's not actually, I've not printed the page that says the name of the pattern. But this is the pattern. Oh well, that's come up. It's a colourwork pattern. Yeah. There is a cowl and a hat pattern in the same pattern. And it's colourwork. It's quite a geometric kind of colourwork. And I just wanted to join in. Gem is going to be running a colourwork knit along. Just on Instagram, I think. And I couldn't resist. So I picked a couple of colourways. I thought it would make a good sample as well. And DK weight hopefully will be again a nice quick kind of, what am I trying to say? Instant gratification kind of project. That's the plan anyway. And then the final thing that I picked up was something I have wanted for absolutely ages, and that is a pin pennant. And I keep seeing Rachel of So Ray Me stocking pin pennants, and I keep missing them. And then the other day, around kind of the same weekend as Yorkshire Yarn Fest, she had popped up a couple more in her shop. So I treated myself to one. She uses a lot of vintage fabrics and stuff like that. This has got this gorgeous kind of rose print at the top, and then it's just a lovely hessian, and then she's just got a simple bobbled bit at the bottom, and I've got all my pins on here. So I'm going to pop a nail in the wall up here at some point so that I can hang it up properly, just on the wall there, but I haven't got round to it. But yeah, it's finally nice to have these actually on something and not just hanging around in my office. So that is basically all of the knitting and crafting content, really. I haven't got much to share shop news wise. Clubs are still ongoing as much as possible. So the April instalment of the Nostalgia Club is currently up and is live, and we are exploring the 1930s in April. I'm really enjoying the research and coming up with the colourways and all of that kind of stuff for it. So that is lovely. And at the moment I can still ship to all of my usual countries. None of the countries that I tend to ship to have any restrictions as of yet, although obviously you may expect some slight delays, because I think some of the mail is going by ship instead of by plane. Yeah, but at the moment I can still ship everywhere as usual, which is brilliant. I am hoping to have a little bit of a shop update next weekend, so hopefully I'm going to be doing some more scrappy mini boxes, so kind of mix of 10-gram minis. I'm also planning something else, maybe some other mini bundles. I've forgotten what I'm planning to dye. It all depends on how much dyeing I can get done around the kids this week. But there will be a little shop update next weekend with mostly minis and maybe a restock of a couple of colourways. But that is kind of it for now. So thank you so much for popping along and watching, and yeah, keeping me company in the midst of all this isolation. And I hope that I could brighten your day a little bit as well and give you a little bit of company if you are stuck at home on your own, or if you are at home and avoiding your children for half an hour. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you again next weekend with another little kind of catch-up podcast. Yeah, bye.